Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about our senses, what we see, what we hear, and what we're surrounded by. And we're doing this because it's consistently being processed by our brains. So let's reassemble how we see our senses and how we can utilize them. And depending on what we're going to be taking in, it's going to either support our calm state or it's going to overwhelm our internal system. So today we're going to look at how our sensory systems influence our brain, our nervous system, and our overall sense of how we function. Welcome to Life Reassembled. This is the podcast where we learn how to reassemble our lives. I'm Julie Renee. I'm a life coach specializing in trauma recovery and a speaker. Together, we're going to be exploring what it really means to reassemble our lives on the rock after we've spent our entire lives piecing it together on sand. Here, we're going to talk about healing the mind, renewing the spirit, and organizing the parts of our lives that were once overwhelmed by complete chaos. Each episode is a space for reflection, faith, and practical steps for living with peace and intention. So, take a deep breath with me, settle in with some warm coffee, and let's begin reassembling our lives, piece by piece, together. So, how does our senses affect our brain? We have to realize that every sensory input that we receive is information to our body. Light, sound, texture, taste, smell. All of this is being filtered and interpreted by the brain as we're receiving it. And the brain isn't just observing it, it's responding to it. And this is where our nervous system comes in. And the brain has to use a sensory input. This is all created by design to determine if we're safe, if we need to respond, if we need to stay alert, do we need to run? What do we need to do? And so when our environment is in this calm and peaceful state, our body can do what it does best. It can be at peace. It can be at rest. And when the environment is loud, chaotic, or constantly changing, the brain is very active. It's alert, it's engaged, and it's tiring out. And over time, that can be very overwhelming and can cause a lot of tension in our brains. And we don't even really realize it straight away, but our brains know it. This is why it's imperative to have a structured stress state and why we need to be at rest and at calm as much as we possibly can, and not to be in an environment that is a consistency of overwhelm and stress and chaos and trauma and abuse. And we need to flip it on its side and be more in a state of calm and rest. Now, I know it seems like when you're scrolling your phone, you're at rest, but you're really not. So yes, your body might not be active, but your brain is. And we're trying to help our brains as much as we are our bodies. Our bodies need to be more active and our brains need to be less active. And we have flipped it upside down where our brains are overwhelmed and our bodies are just lazy. Like, doesn't it feel like our bodies are we're doing less physically, but our brains are overreaching? So we can actually inadvertently have a sensory overload in our brain, but we might not even realize it because we slowly stack this up in our day-to-day that it becomes normal. And then we don't even realize how chaotic and rush we are on a consistent basis. But if you're feeling irritated, if you're struggling to focus, if you're having mental fatigue, if you're wanting to withdraw or shut down, scrolling on your phone is a way of shutting down. It's a way of withdrawing, by the way. If you're feeling overstimulated by really small things that don't really matter, it's because your system is overwhelmed. And this is very new. Like, I think we're finally waking up to the fact that, like, hey, if we're getting irritated over the smallest things, there's something wrong. If we're not able to process things properly, something's wrong. And a lot of it is because our sensory overload can't take in anything. I don't care how small it is. I don't care how insignificant it is. It's so maxed out that we can't take in anything else. Anything as small as like a feather could just break us because the brain needs to process and it needs to take time and it needs to rest. And we need to give our brains this space to do it. But if we're taking in more than it can process, it's easily overwhelmed. And we do this simply, most importantly, we do this with phones. notifications with traffic, conversations, background noises, the way the lighting is, crowded spaces. Now, if we break this up on their own and spread it out, it's not too bad. But if it's consistent, if it's always there, if it's always in the background, if you're constantly going, if you don't give yourself a break, then your nervous system will be engaged longer than it was ever created for. Now, isn't that a simple way that the devil can keep us in that state? You don't think this is by design from him? It's 100%. Like, I really believe God gave us, like, look at what God created. He created Eden, this beautiful, relaxing, like, you're surrounded by nature and you're like naked and you're with your significant other and you're like hanging out with animals all day and you're walking with God in the cool of the day. That was how we were created to be. Relaxed, peace, surrounded by nature, chilling, not being ashamed of your body, like all this beautiful things. And when sin entered into us, it became like, now we have to work. Now we have to toil. Now we're going to have pain when we give birth. There's all these curses that are a consequence of those bad decisions. And we have to figure out a way in this day to flip the script. I don't know why I'm like using that metaphor this entire podcast, but everything's like upside down. And God created a peaceful environment for us. He wanted us to be surrounded by nature. He wanted us to be surrounded by loved ones. He wanted us to be with animals and trees and birds and the sky, and to be outside and to breathe fresh, clean air and to walk and just to be. Like, we were created just to be. And yes, it's beautiful to have ambitions, of course, and we have goals and all these different beautiful things, but we can easily get overwhelmed by the lies, maybe not necessarily from, ads or from social media, but just within ourselves, things that we tell ourselves that we need to do or who we need to become. And our identity shifts to something else that we were never really created for. And we could easily overwhelm ourselves with things that we want to overwhelm ourselves with. And yet, when other chaotic things come up that need our attention, we're so stressed on this side of it with our own problems, our own drama, our own things that we created, our own little world, that we can't take in anything else. Because it's like weird. We also need like this drama within ourselves, this conflict. And if it's not put together properly, honestly, it will stay that way. What we're really craving, and I can attest to this, what we're really craving is a challenge. We need a positive challenge to work towards. Now, I loved challenges, yet I created drama because it's the same feeling. You get the same dopamine hit. It's the same reaction. But drama always has a negative reaction. And yet what I was really craving without realizing it was a challenge. I needed a mission. I needed something that was greater than me that I could achieve, not necessarily on my own, because I believe that everything that is good in our lives needs to be walked out with the Lord and hand in hand with him and him helping us. And there's a reason why he says, hey, my yoke is easy, because we're supposed to do things with him. We're supposed to be side by side doing things together. And when he gives us this internal desire, he's going to make it happen if we lean into him. We got to do our part 100%, but our part should never overwhelm us. It should never take over what Jesus is doing next to us. And we can easily, and I am guilty of that myself, guys, of taking over, of like, oh, I see the finish line, or I see this. I'm like, okay, I can do this. And we do more things on our own, and we're causing this unnecessary overwhelm, sensory overload. And then we wonder why we're burnt out. Like, oh, I don't want to be lazy, and I'm an overachiever, and I just want to get things done. And I'm like, go, 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 go. Like, that's me to a T. Like, I'm all about the go, 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 go. But I lived for 20 years of not doing that correctly. I was getting into things that I shouldn't have been getting into because the opportunity presented itself, whether good or bad. I didn't care. I just wanted all of it. I wanted every opportunity, and I just kept saying yes to everything, and I was constantly overwhelmed. I had a mental breakdown before I created a system that helped me align who God created me to be, put my goals into focus correctly, and creating a mission statement instead of a goal list. And then I was able to achieve the things in the proper order with the right alignment with God. And it is so much better, guys. I have so much more peace in my life. There's so much clarity. And I feel like that word is so overused right now, but that is the best word to describe what I am saying. I was like, hey, my mission is clear. I'm not guessing at my next steps. Like each step is being laid out in front of me as I'm going. And the light like lit up the path as I kept stepping towards the goal and the missions that God aligned in my life. And once I let go of the horrible relationships, once I let go of the past identity, once I let go of the shame and the condemnation and the guilt, I was just like, okay, I accepted Jesus's forgiveness. It doesn't change who I used to be. It doesn't change my past mistakes, but it does change me moving forward into never being that same person ever again. I have a decision from now on moving forward. I can't go backwards. You guys can't go backwards, but we can change the future by changing who we are now. And if you don't know where you're at right now, I encourage you guys to go to my website, links in the description below. And in there, I have a free identity blueprint. And it's self-guided. You take your time on it. It's completely free. And you're able to just kind of dive in there and decide like, hey, this really is what I think about myself. I didn't even realize that. There's a difference between thinking about it and writing it down. Can anybody attest to that? Like you think you have it all figured out, right? It's all in your head and like, yeah, no, I got it. This is okay. You can kind of answer the questions in your head. I've done that. But when I sat down and I actually wrote things out, it was like this release. I don't know what it is about writing, but it's just like this release of all these ideas and thoughts I never even realized were there. It's like hiding behind that thought that you think it is. And then you've answered the questions before and other things. And like you have the answer in your head and you're like, okay. But as soon as you take that thought and get it out of your head, it's like all of a sudden you realize it was a cap holding back all these other ideas, all these other thoughts, all this creativity, all this pain, all these things that are like completely hidden from that one thought. And so when you take that thought and bring it out, it releases all these powerful things. And when we do that, we're releasing, we're letting go. And that helps tremendously with our sensory regulation. So go check that out. It gives you a good standing point of where you're at, where you're standing at right now. And then let's keep reassembling our lives. And so in regards to the sensories, if we're caring for our vision and we're taking care of our hearing and we're taking care of our oral health, this really helps tremendously with our sensory input. So when we put ourselves in front of a screen, the brightness and the clutter, all of that really affects our brain. We don't realize it. And I know that there's studies on it. You guys, we have the research. And it's so impactful. So we have to be careful of how much screen time that we're putting in front of us. We have to have limits on that. And I know it's hard when like you're working on a computer for work, let's say, right? So you're on the computer all day for work. And then you're like, well, I want to have like fun screen time. I want to watch a movie or a TV show or whatever it may be, or play a video game. And it's like difficult because it's just like more screen time, right? So we have to be really careful how we do this. And if we can take breaks in between more often, that alone really helps. Get outside. I'm a key component. Like you guys know this, like I love going outside, getting that sun on your eyes and just like soaking that in for just a few minutes and just doing that, taking a walk. anytime you can take a break, especially if you are working on a computer all day long, as much as you can take breaks from it is going to help you tremendously. Going to the restroom, going to get a drink of water, like take a break every 10 to 15 minutes from the screen just for your eyes to kind of reset. And it's not that sensory overload of screen time, screen time, screen time, screen time. That way you're not feeling guilty or having excess screen time when you want to do something fun with the screen and you want to watch a movie or whatever. Like, I'm not trying to take all that away from you. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of reassembling your life so that it's not an overwhelm and it stresses, because you don't realize, why am I so tired all the time? And it could be just something as simple as too much screen time. It's amazing. And I know that we're working on, the black screens and this and that. That does help, but you can't just do that and think that everything's good to go. It's a bunch of different things put together. And you really have to give your eyes times to rest throughout the day as much as you possibly can. Just closing your eyes and praying, closing your eyes and being thankful, closing your eyes and just resting for 20 seconds, 2 minutes. This really helps your eye health and your brain health. And then, like, how do we protect our ears from being oversensitized? And there's so many things going on right now where we have to have a TV in the background or we have to have music in the background. And like, I understand that. Trust me. Like, sometimes that helps, but it helps because your brain stops thinking and starts being creative when you have background. Usually, right? Especially with a TV, because even though you're not like listening to it, it's there. Your brain still hears it just because you're not paying attention to it. Like, no, like your brain is still hearing it. You know what I'm saying? So I understand about the background noise, but it can't be consistent. We need time to hear nature. We need time for it to just be silent, and then if you are going to have background noise or music, like, in all honesty, like, I get it. Like, if you're into more like hardcore music, I love metal. Like, I get it, but there's a time and a place. There really is a time and a place. Like, I'll listen to metal music while I'm having a massage, but when I'm home and I want peace and quiet, I'm going to turn on like some soft jazz or whatever it may be, right? There's a time and a place in regards to how you hear the music, and there's a time when it just needs to be silent. So listen to your body, listen to what your needs are. And there's times where I'm like overwhelmed, like I can't have any noise going on in the background because I just need it to be quiet, and I'm enjoying the quiet. And it depends too on what season you are in your life. So just listen to your body and try to avoid excess consistency in the noise if at all possible, because it's overwhelming. It really is overwhelming. And if you live in a house with like a lot of people and there's like a lot of family members, that quiet time is sacred, if you guys know what I mean. So get out to a park, spend a few minutes going on a nature walk before you go to work or after work or whatever it may be during your lunch break. Have those bits where you're purposely setting time aside for your brain to receive a natural quiet. And if you live in like a busy city, and so like your background noise, your quiet time is going to be horns honking and pigeons and just people bustling about. Like, that's why they created a Central Park inside of New York, right? Like, there's a way to find nature, and there's a way to get away from the hustle and bustle. You just have to really fight for it and put it part of your routine. Our oral health is super important too, guys. What we taste, what we take in, all of this is very imperative. And it's connected to the rest of our body. What we eat and how we care for our mouth and our overall hygiene really influences our inflammation, our bacterial balance, which is so gross if you think about it. There's so much bacteria in our mouth, guys. It's disgusting. The more natural we can do, like, I rather swish around a hydrogen peroxide than mouthwash. Like, I don't even like the taste of mouthwash. It's so horrid. I don't know how you guys do it. Hydrogen peroxide is natural. Vinegar is natural, and it cleans all that. Do not ever swallow that stuff, guys. If you're going to switch it's less expensive. It has the same components that the mouthwash does, but mouthwash has other things in it. They add flavors. They add this, they add that. So even though like there's some good ingredients in there that do cleanse your mouth, I'm not saying it doesn't work, but they have other stuff in there that you don't need. You know what I'm saying? So just be careful about what you do put in your mouth, like do the research on it, but take care of it. Brush your teeth twice a day. Do the whole thing, you guys. We have to take care of our mouths, and don't ever put things in your mouth that shouldn't be in your mouth for any reason. I don't care what they say. Just don't do it. I'm going to leave it at that. When you create a supportive system for your sensory environment, and it's something very simple, it's just part of our routine, part of our day to day, it becomes a habit, and be realistic. Like every day changes for the most part, right? So be aware of the things that you're allowing your eyes to see, and be careful about that too. Can we go back real quick to the eyes? Be careful about what you let your eyes see. Don't put images in front of your eyes that are not good. Don't put things in your mouth that are not good. Don't listen to things that are not good. So on the spiritual side of it, this was an overwhelm for me of the situation that I was in. In my past relationship, my ex was constantly overwhelming my sensories with images I did not want to see, with telling me things I did not want to hear, and putting things in my mouth I did not want in there. And it was constantly, and it could be all at the same time. And it was just overwhelming. So when when he was at work, I was constantly calming my nervous system. And I had a baby. So it was not an easy life. That is why I'm doing this, because I had to learn how to calm myself without knowing how to research this, without having the emotional or spiritual support. And so I was just constantly preparing for the worst every night. And during the day, I would do my best to stay as calm as possible. And the problem with that, for many reasons, but another problem that just came to my mind is my challenges were not healthy. My challenge at that time in my life was to keep myself as calm as possible during the times that I knew that my sensories were going to be overwhelmed, when my brain was going to be activated by the images and the things that he was saying. And I was constantly preparing for that battle, and it was exhausting. So even if I had a few minutes of quiet when my son was taking a nap and I just was like soaking that in, I knew what was coming later, and praying for the strength to survive that, praying for the strength to say what I need to say and do what I need to do so it could be over quickly. Because if anybody who's ever experienced abuse, that's what you pray for. You pray for it to be done quickly. What can I do to make it as short as possible, to be in and out, to get it over with? Like, what can I do? How can I prepare for it? And it's overwhelming, and it's stressful, and it's exhausting. So if you're in that situation, anything similar, if anything I went through is similar to your situation, there is a way, and it's to get out. And is to get on your knees, talk to God, repent. It's not your fault at all for what they choose to do. But the lie is that you can't get out. The lie is you have to stay there. The lie is you have to be submissive. The lies, that's what's keeping anybody trapped in the abusive relationship. It is surrounded by a lie that we internally believe so deep down, nothing can break through that. And the deeper and the more it's beaten into us, the more we believe it. So there is a way out. There is a way out. There's always a way out. And you have more help out there than you realize. Reach out to me. I'll help you if you're in a very specific situation. And you can get out. And you can get out safely. And there's places where you can go where they can't touch you. So my heart goes for those who are in that situation, because I've been there. I know what it's like for years to be in a situation where you feel like you cannot get out. So you're trying to make the best of it. God did not make our senses to take that. If you guys are in a situation or like, hey, all this sounds great, but like, what do I do? How do I get started? Again, that identity blueprint is a great way to get started about where you're at. If you already know kind of where you're at, you already have your identity pretty set and solid, that I would go to our programs, because on the programs, there's ways of structuring that and putting that together. And if you guys want to have my step-by-step system for how I created a mission and turned my goals into reality, I have that on my website as well, and go check that out. If you guys need one-on-one coaching on your specific situation, because we all know like life's not cookie cutter, not every situation is the same. And so I created a personalized program where I help walk you through what you need to, and we decide together of what that looks like. Depending on your situation, your season, and what's going on, we together create something that works for you. And I'm your built-in accountability partner to help you stay on track with love and with truth. And I'm not like crazy hardcore, but I'm like, you don't want to disappoint. You know what I'm saying? So I want to keep you guys accountable for the progress that you want to design, and we can put that together in a system that works for what you're looking at. And take care of your senses. Take care of your body. Reassemble how you do your day-to-day. Reassemble your life in such a way where you can thrive. Be the best version of yourself. It's not overnight, and it's just at 1% each and every day. And so anywhere that you can see on taking care of your eyes better, your ears better, your mouth better, just receive. And we were talking last week about your skin, and like that touch, like taking care of how you touch things and what you touch. Continue to practice gratitude. That like overwhelms all your senses in a wonderful way. It just completely aligns you with our Savior. Having that gratitude and thanking Him for what you have, and being grateful for the things that you don't have yet because you're not ready for it. That's a whole nother topic. And being grateful when you feel like you have nothing to be grateful for. There's always something. When I was in my abusive relationship, it was really hard at first. It took me quite some time to figure out what I was grateful for, but I forced myself to find things that I was grateful for. And I found them. And as soon as like that floodgate opened, I was finding all kinds of things to be grateful for, which was insane in the situation that I was in. So in the meantime, wherever you're at in your season, find a way to be grateful for anything and everything, and steward your body well. This is why we reassemble ourselves. We align ourselves with who God created us to be, and making it into a way that is productive and helpful, not only for ourselves, but for our families and for our community. And we got this. You guys got this. It's inside of us. God gave us the tools that we need inside of us. And there's so many other resources out there to help us. And it's just letting go of the things that are just, you don't need, even if it's good for you. Maybe this is not the season to have it. Having the capacity to let things go and just giving it to God, and only doing what we need to do as we move forward. You guys, there's so much happiness in there. If you're looking for pure joy, it comes from Jesus. And like, how does that work? It's by like letting go of all the things that are not Jesus. It's surrendering. It's coming to Him. And it's about just taking care of what He gave us. And the more natural, the closer we can get to Eden, the better off we'll be. That's how God really designed us to be. So I love you guys. Take care. Check out all the descriptions, all the links, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you for joining us for today's conversation on Life Reassembled. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who is also rebuilding their life, because none of us are meant to do this alone. To keep growing with us, join us on the Life Reassembled Facebook community. Check out our free identity blueprint on our website, or learn more about our coaching and upcoming courses at reassembledlife.com. That's re-assembledlife.com. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Life Reassembled for daily encouragement and resources. Remember that healing doesn't happen overnight, but every small step forward is part of reassembling your life.